Welcome to Deadline Horror News Live for the week of November 3rd, 2021. I'm Josh, and I'm joined here with Donnie.
Hey.
And the Professor Smoke.
What's up?
Will couldn't be with us as usual, but we are from the All-American Spookshow Horror Podcast. Of course, as always, we want to remind you to like and subscribe to the channel and click on the bell down below to be notified when we go live or whenever we put up new videos. You don't want to miss a thing. It's nonstop excitement. We want you to become a supporter of the Spook Show by going over to patreon.com/AA-spookshow. Sign up to become a patron. We have levels starting at $1, $3, all the way up to a crazy like $1,000 Spook Show Insanity level, which you need to go check out. The main attraction, though, over on Patreon is the popular segment, The Library of the Professor, where Professor Smoke himself takes a curated selection from his personal library and talks about it and gives his rating. So we always have a good time with that every Tuesday. We also want to remind you that episode 80 of the regular podcast is out now, and it's our 3rd anniversary Halloween Spectacular 2021 episode. It's crazy that we've actually made it 3 years. So time flies when you're having fun. But like wherever you get your podcast, you want to go ahead and download that. It's a lot of fun. It's the one time of the year where we get to go back and re-rate the movies that we've watched over the past year. So if you want to hear some of our new thoughts on a lot of the movies that we talked about last year, just listen to this episode. And of course, episode 81 comes out next Monday, and it is our October Patreon poll winner, Hellraiser from 1987. So it won over Nightmare on Elm Street and Phantasm. So I'm not shocked, I guess, but I was somewhat surprised that it beat out.
Yeah, I was surprised as well.
Yeah. But we're going to be talking Hellraiser, and that's going to kind of be the loose beginnings of a new series. Like we're kind of dip in and out, talking about a series off and on, like we did the Conjuring series. So this will be the beginning of us watching the Hellraiser franchise. So come and check that out this Monday, November 8th at 6 p.m. East. Unless you're a patron at the $5 level, you get it early. You'll get it before everyone else. So usually this is where I directly toss to Donnie for the latest deadlines and horror news. But we have breaking news here. I don't know where the music came from, but anyways, literally Bloody Disgusting just put up an article like earlier today that apparently a 3.5-hour director's cut of the George Romero classic Martin has been found. Apparently, I guess they're currently like restoring the film for a new 4K UHD release. That's supposed to be coming, I guess, like early next year. And I didn't really catch the details of exactly how they found this, but apparently a director's cut that is 3.5 hours long that apparently was always George Romero's preferred vision of it, according to the article. It says that it would be black and white. I guess it's the black and white 16 millimeter version. So I guess, they're working on somehow getting that out to the masses. I don't know exactly when and where and how, but we just learned about this. So we thought it would be worth mentioning that this apparently does exist. And, hopefully we'll get to see it at some point. Now, I've never actually sit down and watched this one, Smoke. I'm sure you have a number of times.
Yeah, I love this. This happens to be Romero's own personal favorite of all his movies. It's a great film, so we'll definitely have to get around to it at some point soon, hopefully on the podcast.
So I'm assuming that we won't. The first time we probably shouldn't watch the 3.5 hour.
I'm sure that's probably not the place to start.
Yeah. I can hear Willie quitting the show right now, like from afar.
I can hear him like just slamming the headphones down off his ears, just like, I'm out of here.
That's it. I quit. But I guess we'll go on to the regular scheduled programming already in progress. So, Donnie, I'll toss it to you for the latest deadlines and horror news.
Yeah, man. Rob Savage, he made a name for himself with the Shudder original movie Host. is actually he's basically following that up with Stephen King's an adaptation of Stephen King's short story The Boogeyman, which was originally published in 1973 before finding a home in the Night Shift collection in '78. But this will actually be the first time that the Boogeyman tale will be adapted, for a feature length. For basically a feature. The writers are Scott Beck and Brian Woods from A Quiet Place, and I'm gonna fucking butcher this one, but Aleka Cooper,
Mika hi, Mika ho.
Dude, I knew somebody was gonna say it. I was like, crap. All right, but no, she was a writer, one of the writers for *Malignant*, which we will eventually get to. But it was.
I'm going to go ahead and pencil that one in at some point in January. I'm just, we're getting to it. Trust me, we're getting there.
Let's get to it and get it over with. Until *Malignant* becomes a whole freaking series, and then we have to cover it eventually.
Yeah.
Let's not speak that into existence.
Yeah, you just did it, so.
Shit, it's going to happen.
Yep.
But no, this is going to be specifically on Hulu. But no, that's have you guys? You guys know how I am with books. What do you guys think about this?
I'm actually currently no joke, like reading the Night Shift book. Like I'm kind of gone back and like started like from Stephen King's, like his first books on down. So like, but I actually haven't read that story yet. I haven't got to that one yet. So no, I've never read that particular short story.
Smoke?
I've read the Night Shift collection, but the last time I've read it was back in the '80s, probably mid to late '80s. So I don't recall. I don't recall that story as far as what goes on in it. I know that there was a movie called The Boogeyman from like 1980 or '81 that has no relation to Stephen King, directed by Uli Lama, which is a slasher, which was pretty decent, but no relation to this story. But do you have any of the other stories from Night Shift right in front of you at all? Either of you? I don't have the book right.
No, books were always punishment to me, but anyway. But I don't.
I can pull that up real fast because hold on, I've got it right here.
I forget what some of the other ones were in there. Which other stories?
You've got Jerusalem's Lot.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah.
Graveyard Shift. Nights. I'll just
read
down.
Movie.
I'll just read down the list right away. Like Night Surf, I Am the Doorway, The Mangler, The Boogeyman, Gray Matter, Battleground Trucks, which that was adapted into Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah, Maximum Overdrive.
Sometimes They Come Back, Strawberry Spring, The Ledge, The Lawnmower Man, Quitters Inc., I Know What You Need, Children of the Corn, The Last Rung on the Ladder, The Man Who Loved Flowers, One for the Road, and The Woman in the Room. I'm sorry. So, there was a good handful of those I just read that got adapted into either like a series or a movie for sure. A lot of that. That's a whole Spook Show Spotlight episode in and of itself, just talking about that book.
Oh,
yeah. Yes, right. I forgot we did bring that up. We brought that book up when we were talking about something else. I forget what it was, but in relation to Salem's Lot story in there.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what episode it was. We were talking about.
It might have been during the Maximum Overdrive episode where we were talking about that.
Probably was that? Oh yeah. That's right.
So what else we got, Donnie?
So 1971, there was a show called The Hilarious House of Frightenstein. But Tubi picked up 100 episodes of this, and it is now available streaming on Tubi, for free, with ads, of course. But it's basically a Canadian monster series starring Vincent Price. The series ran for a total of 130 episodes, but you can see the first 100 episodes on Tubi. Also, iHorror.com, they have a weekly featured article called Tightwad Terror Tuesdays. So it's basically, it's a catchy name, I guess, but it's completely dedicated to free horror movies that are available to stream on several free platforms. But you can look for that every Tuesday at ihorror.com. It's Tightwad Terror Tuesdays.
I've never heard of this. I've never seen it, but like when you sent us the link earlier for this and I started watching it, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Dude, it looks awesome.
This looks awesome for sure. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch more of it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
this might be something where we need to like watch an episode or something, and sit here and talk about it when
Yeah. You know what? Maybe we'll do it live. I don't know if we can do it live though. It's got
it's free on Tubi, so we could always say like, all right, everybody, cue it up and hit play right now, and then we can just kind of running commentary as it's
Yeah,
it looks worth the time. It does. It looks ridiculous. Smoke, have you ever seen or heard of it?
Yeah, I have. That's why I was excited for watching this. I didn't realize that it was on Tubi or anything. I'd heard of Vincent Price doing this show, but I've never seen any footage from it. I've never looked it up on YouTube either to see if it's out there. But I do remember hearing about it back in, I don't know, 90s at least or so. So yeah, that'll be fun to watch, I think.
Yeah. Well, the next, I guess, basically the last headline we have, Hellraiser, the new Pinhead, Jamie Clayton. So you know her from Sense8 and the L Word, but no, she's going to be taking over as Pinhead in the new Hellraiser. But she shares on her Instagram page. You can look it up. But it's basically like a quick clip of the molding and the casting kind of process for her role in that. And, we alluded to earlier, episode 81, coming out Monday. And that'll be Hellraiser, the original. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, I actually saw the Instagram video that she was talking
I saw
about.
it.
I guess we should have tried to show that here, but maybe we can put it down in the show notes later on, like speak to it or something. But yeah, I mean, as far as the casting is concerned, I mean, I'm sure that's going to be somewhat, I guess you could say, somewhat controversial or divisive, just because it's a woman playing Pinhead. But really in this world that they've built here, Clive Barker's world, there, like, does it really matter if it was a woman or a man or anything? Like, it's such a weird.
The thing is, like, you're gonna have people who you're gonna see both sides. You're gonna hear both sides from it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
No. It's like the same argument with Doctor Who. Like, it can't be a woman playing. Who said that? It's an alien. Who cares? Like
it's like it's like there can't be a black James Bond.
That kind of thing. Yeah, it's like
it doesn't matter.
It's unnecessary outrage, in my opinion. But whatever. As long as it's done well, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah.
Now you can make the argument, does it need to be redone at all? Now there's an argument to be had, but that's the thing. I just noticed the comment there from Pennsylvania Larry. Is she still called Pinhead? Now, like, I think technically, Smoke, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. They never actually called him Pinhead, right?
No. Pinhead was a name that was a nickname that they gave the look of the character on set. Basically, they kind of called him Pinhead, as they were shooting him.
I think in the credits of at least the original Hellraiser, he was just listed as lead Cenobite.
Yeah.
So
in the book too. The book doesn't mention it by name, and he's just. I mean, they mentioned the engineer, which is a Cenobite.
Yeah. Was that it, Donnie? That you said that was the last headline?
Yeah. That's all. That ends it.
Yeah, I'll put the link down for that Instagram video. You can see that the special effects, which was the actual story that we were talking about there. Like, you can see them putting like this plaster cast type deal on her head. And if nothing else, if you're claustrophobic, man, it'll make you like catch your breath a little bit. Like, oh God, But that's the way they do it, though, man. And it takes hours, right? Like, to do something like that. Yeah.
I think that she said in her story it only took like 30 minutes.
Still.
But for the what was it? It's like a 1-minute video on her Instagram, but it only took like maybe 35 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like, you talk about creature effects and creature features. That shit can take hours.
Oh yeah. you hear all the horror stories, pun unintended.
Yeah, I did.
Of them doing that, like, having to sit there for hours on end, basically just to do one scene and then hours to get out of it.
Yeah, I would have loved to have been on set for just one of those, but yeah, just didn't happen. Right.
Well, we have the fan experiences and conventions and whatnot this weekend. We only have one convention that we could track down. I mean, we have missed some in the past, so there might be another one I didn't see. But this is the only one that I could find, and it's Monsters of Horror 2021 in Catoosa, Oklahoma, which is a town like right outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma, which I'm assuming is just like a suburb of Tulsa. But for more information, you can go to monstersofhorror.com, and you can see some of the info right there, some of the little side events that they're going to be having, in conjunction with it. But some of the guests include David Howard Thornton. He plays one of the guys that played Art the Clown in Terrifier. I think he was the one in Terrifier, right, Smoke? David Howard Thornton?
Yep.
Yeah. And Damien Leone, who directed Terrifier. So they're both going to be there. James Jude Courtney, who I believe he was the one that played the latest, he's the actual younger guy, right, that's playing Michael Myers right now.
Yeah, he played, I think he was Michael Myers in Halloween 2018 as well.
Yeah, the last two, yeah. PJ Souls, Danielle Harris, Scout Taylor Compton, a handful of other names that, are normally at these, on the convention circuit. They're all going to be there. So like I said, monstersofhorror.com for more information there. And the other thing that we can find, this isn't a convention, but this actually doesn't happen until November 18th. It's a screening of Ghostbusters Afterlife at Alamo Draft House. You can go to drafthouse.com for tickets and information there. Tickets went on sale today for that, and attendees at the screening will receive an Ecto Cooler drink, booze or virgin, so alcoholic or non-alcoholic, and whatever ectoplasmic residue is. Now, what?
Yeah. The reason I said, I don't know what ectoplasmic. My guess is it'll probably be a petri dish with like some boogers or something in it, and like the boogers will be like candy or some sort of dessert. I don't fucking know. I'm just guessing.
Now, for all of us, or for the Spook Show crew here, we all live in the except for Smoke, he lives down near Columbia, South Carolina. We all live in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. The best I can tell, the closest Alamo Draft House for any of us is in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I haven't been there yet. Have y'all been there?
No, I've wanted to go. A couple years ago, I was kind of wanting to, get together and go do it, and just it never panned out. But I believe that'd be the closest one to us.
It'd be a good one to check out.
Because I think once again, I could be wrong. I think it's the only one in the entire, Carolinas. I think that's the only location. So yeah, maybe one of these days that's a road trip for us to go up and finally get to an Alamo Draft House.
Yeah.
Cool. The box office report this week, or I should say from this past weekend, Halloween weekend, October 29th through the 31st. I'll go down the top 10. Number 10, The French Dispatch. Number 9, The Addams Family 2, made a little over $3 million in its fifth week for a total of $52.6 million. Number 8, Ron's Gone Wrong. Number 7, in its opening week, the debut of the new Edgar Wright film, Last Night in Soho. Now, Smoke, did you get a chance to go check that out?
Yeah, we did check out Last Night in Soho, and I enjoyed it for what it was. A more mystery / horror, but it was enjoyable. In the theater, it was a good experience too, because again, that movie had some great sound and a great soundtrack, so definitely worth seeing in the theater.
And number 6, you also went and saw this one this past weekend in its opening week, Antlers.
Yep. Yeah, that was another. That was there's not that many Wendigo movies, and there's hardly any really good Wendigo movies, except I think we've talked about Ravenous at some point on the podcast, maybe before. We haven't done that movie, but we've talked about it. And that's a good movie that has deals with the Wendigo, but they don't really show the manifestation of the Wendigo and its, form with the antlers and the deer head and all that. In this movie, I'm not going to go into what all they show of it without giving anything away, but it is more geared towards, obviously, in the name Antlers, you do, get more of the creature itself. It was I think it got mixed reviews, but we both enjoyed it, me and my wife.
Well,
Now let's go into the spoilers for it. So,
yeah, no. Last Night in Soho made 4.1 million, and then Antlers made just over 4.2 million. So I would think that's somewhat disappointing considering that it was Halloween weekend. But hopefully they have, hopefully they continue to, at least do that and make pretty good. But I'd like to go see both of them for sure myself. Number 5, Venom: Let There Be Carnage. Number 4, My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission. That was in its opening week. Number 3 is the top 3, I should say, are the exact same from last week. Number 3, the new Bond movie, No Time to Die. Number 2, Halloween Kills, in its third week, made 8.7 for a total so far of 85.8 million. And number 1, once again in the box office, Dune, 15.4 million for a total so far of 69.2 million. And then just greenlit part 2 of that. So that will be coming, I think, in 2 years or so. So that's the box office report. As far as new releases this week, not nearly as many as last week, but as to be expected, like right after Halloween. We've got 6 movies coming out over the next week. We've got today on Video on Demand, Marionette. Tomorrow on Shudder, we've got Dead and Beautiful. On Friday, the 5th, we have Lanterns Lane and The Deep House. Now, we've talked about The Deep House. Like, it seemed like earlier this summer we mentioned.
We did.
Yeah,
we talked about the
all
underwater.
Yeah. An underwater haunted house movie. Both of those come out this Friday for Video on Demand, so you can, I'm sure all the normal services, you can go rent that, track it down. Next Tuesday, you got 2 movies coming out, both one on DVD, one on Video on Demand. On DVD, Blu-ray, I assume. Tuesday the 9th, Witch Hunt, and the movie Lair comes out on Video on Demand. So those are the 6 big releases coming up over the next week. So I want to check out The Deep House. That sounds interesting enough to give it a viewing. Couple horror anniversary dates before we check out here. The first one is John P. Fulton, celebrating his birthday tomorrow. He was born November 4th, 1902. And he passed away July 5th, 1966. He was like a special effects, like video effects cinematographer for like a lot of classic films, up until his death there in 1966. I mean, tons of stuff like The Ten Commandments, a lot of horror, just a little bit of everything. This guy, he had his hands.
See how big he was. Look at him against that ship.
Yeah. For proper size comparisons, you see the ship there.
Yeah,
This is why he kind of died early in life. He was the size of Godzilla.
Gigantism. No,
Yeah,
he didn't have gigantism.
He really terrified the countryside before his death. And then the last date that we have there, or the next date, I should say, is for actor Dwight Fry. He was born February 22nd, 1899, but he passed away, and this is the anniversary date coming up on November 7th of 1943. So needless to say, he was only, about 43, 44 years old there when he passed away. So he was really young.
Yeah, he's a great actor. He was an underrated actor. I think probably most people would know him as Renfield in the original Dracula. Well, in the Bela Lugosi Dracula.
Yeah, he was in like the original Frankenstein, right? And Bride of Frankenstein, I believe, or at least the first Frankenstein for sure.
Yeah, he was in the first Frankenstein. Yep. Yeah. He was Fritz, I believe it was, the assistant.
Basically, kind of that Igor character, but they didn't call him that.
Yeah.
Also,
there's an Alice Cooper song called "The Ballad of Dwight Fry."
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
You mentioned right before we went on air. You mentioned there was another anniversary date that we didn't pull.
Yeah, I think there's one that we definitely should mention, even though you don't think of this person in reference to horror that much, but he was in at least one horror movie, probably in more, but one that I can think of is House of Wax in the late 50s, and that is Charles Bronson. This would have been his 100th birthday today, so it's centennial for Charles Bronson.
Wow.
Yeah. Typically we would close this. Close it out here. We do have one question that kind of came through. And do you guys like the original John Carpenter Halloween, or do you like the Rob Zombie version?
Come on, Idaho Mike.
You should.
Ridiculous.
Uh,
I'm not even going to dignify that with a real response. I think we know which way we would lean.
Yeah. Still, aside from all that, we do appreciate the questions, even the snide remarks every now and then, because we're good for it.
Yep. We're always game.
Yeah.
So I guess that'll pretty much wrap it up. As you can see there on the screen, of course, we have new episodes of the podcast to come out every Monday at 6 p.m. East. Of course, except for this past week, the new episode came out on Halloween Day. So that's our one. It's going to come out on Halloween no matter what day of the week it falls in every year, kind of thing. But otherwise, all the new episodes come out Monday at 6 p.m. East. Of course, on Tuesdays on Patreon, the video minisodes, you got the Library of the Professor segment. I know it says Deadline Horror News on the screen there on Thursdays. That was kind of our old way. Now that we're kind of doing this live, basically it's just going to be every Wednesday, 9 p.m. East. We're going live here on YouTube. So be sure to keep your eyes on that. Like we said, click on the bell to be notified and all that stuff. So that way you'll know when we're going on and you don't miss a thing there. Patreon.com/AA Spook Show for those video minisodes and for all the other things. And we'll be having, hopefully the next day or so, we'll have our November Patreon poll up for what we will be watching next month. And it will be a Christmas movie. And I believe it'll be like a newer Christmas movie. So like our criteria is always the split is something newer than the year 2000 is a newer one. Everything, before that is older, and we kind of go back and forth. So the poll will be a newer, like post 2000 Christmas horror movie. We'll give you 3 choices, and you'll be able to choose those over on patreon.com/AA Spook Show, hopefully in the next day or two. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Slasher, All-American Spook Show. You'll find us on all those things. And of course, we got our TeePublic page where you can go get logoed merchandise and other designs and stuff. So I guess that's it, guys. So for Will, of course, and for Donnie, Professor Smoke, I'm Josh. We are the All-American Spook Show Horror Podcast, and we will talk to you next week.
See you guys.
Later.